129,000 Instagram followers. Is there something, or are there some things that you would attribute that to specifically? I mean, number one, of course, having dope music. You're a dope musician.
Thank you.
But I think there's a lot of dope musicians who don't have that following. So what would you kind of attribute that to, do you think?
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with collaborating with other people. I think that, you appear on more profiles and it just like creates a heightened sense like that you exist, right? So that's like one thing. Plus it's super fun to collaborate with other people. I also think like getting in press has helped me a lot. Like I noticed a boost when I've gotten in Billboard and things like that. So that definitely helps too. And I think what also helps is when people, probably this is what helps the most, is when people share my posts. And that happens, I notice that happens more when I say something that's like personal, but people relate to it. So they share it. So like they want to know us as artists. They don't want to just like hear the music and try to interpret it. They want to also know like more about like what goes on in like the day-to-day life, like what are we thinking about, all that type of stuff. So getting like more personal and like deeper is I think helps.
That was actually something that I was going to bring up with you, because I feel like you're not afraid to be vulnerable. And I think that's like important. You're not afraid to talk about what's going on, and, whether it be your journey or whether it be health issues or whatever it is, you're not afraid to open up about that stuff. And I think that can hold artists back sometimes, is just being afraid, well, what if people think this, or what if people think that? And I feel like you don't really care what people think, in a way,
Yeah, so I mean, sometimes people get like a little crazy on there, and they have their opinions and they want to fight, and there's just people that just want to fight, So like those people, they could get on my nerves sometimes, but
Right.
I try not to let it get to me. But sometimes, yeah, it does. I think like getting people out to shows is like probably the hardest thing we do as musicians. And I think it's the most valuable thing we do. Yeah.
So what do you think has helped you get people out to shows?
Getting people out to shows, I think it has to be like okay, why do we go to shows? Like that's what you got to think about. Like we go to shows, like I go to shows because I love music, but it's like something, it feels like it takes over me and I get to like escape my life, right? When I go to a show, and I just get to fully be immersed in someone else's music and their story. And that's like one big reason why people go to shows. The other one is to be part of the community that is built around the artist. And I think that is one of the most valuable things that we have. And I think that's like the main focus of my shows, is like, how am I going to make this show so that I can have the biggest community possible? How do I get the audience to like not just come to the show, but interact with each other? So a lot of it is about, for me, like when I go on tour, like inviting different groups out, like different LGBT organizations, or different local schools that are around, and getting like all those people to come and join together. And then after they leave that show, hopefully they've made connections, because if I'm in another city or whatever, like hopefully they've now have some new friends, and have built some community. And it's interesting because my shows look like in LA, my shows are like, it feels like mostly my friends are there,
Right.
But when I go on tour, it's mostly strangers. But when I keep like going to a city once or twice a year, like I start to build friendships. So staying in touch with people is very important too. And also like staying a part of the community even as far away. So it's like, in a way, it's like managing all of these like long distance relationships, which I mean has been super fulfilling for me. I've made friends all over the country that I love, and get to just like have all these friendships, and it just feels it feels super fulfilling.
Yeah, I've thought about that too in terms of your social media. I feel like that's what you do a good job of, is kind of creating a community on social media. So it's interesting to hear you talk about that and carrying that into the shows as well. And I think that was super cool what you said about inviting people out from different groups, inviting people, or students, things like that. I thought that was really cool. Are there any other things that you would say help build that community? Maybe especially going out on the road, because I feel like, going out on the road, as you said, they're strangers. We don't know anybody. So I
Yeah.
think that's daunting for a lot of artists to step out into these other cities where we don't know anybody, and being able to create that community is key, I think, and that's cool. So do you have any other kind of advice around that?
Yeah, a lot of my live shows, like when I'm on tour, I try to invite people to come up on stage with me. Like, I usually pick a song that like the chorus is simple, right? And then you can invite anyone, whether they know the song or not. And usually those people that come on stage, like they'll be like maybe like 5 people will be like brave enough to do it because it is like scary for people. But those people usually end up connecting with each other
Right.
and becoming friends. So I think that that's super valuable. And I try to just do things at my shows to keep the audience engaged. Like I'll throw out T-shirts and stuff like that. That's been like a great way to make a crowd that's like all scattered, like at a festival, like they're standing all different places. You're like, all right, I have one T-shirt. I'm gonna throw out 3 this whole show at different times. People all come up front, So there's ways to get people to like come up, and then once people are like in that group, that's like where like the power of music could actually like hit them, And there's something like very healing about singing in a group together, and I think it's one of like the most healing things, and I think that's like why most churches around the world, like part of their worship service is singing. Like there's something super beneficial to humanity from doing group singing, and like as musicians we can do that and make the show church. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's super dope. I love that. Make the show church. I'm gonna remember that. That's like that's a bar right there. Make the show church. Okay.
Yeah.
I think a lot of artists definitely underestimate the power of collaboration. And sometimes I think we think about it in terms of the songs themselves. So I'm gonna have this artist on my song or whatever, and some artists are good about doing that. But I think in terms of social media, I feel like it's something we can forget about, or YouTube. I feel like that's something we can forget
Yeah.
about. Would you agree?
I think, yeah, definitely. I think also there's like, especially in LA, there's like a competitive vibe
Right.
that happens. So it makes
Right.
people like, oh, you're in the same genre as me. Like, I got to stay away from you. When really, like, no, y'all should be friends. Y'all should be making music together, because then, like, both your followings, like, go up because of each other. And I don't think that we should have this scarcity mindset of like only one person could do it. Like the way I feel, like even just with like the writers room people, which is like my main music scene here, is like that's who I talk to and connect with and stuff. Like one of us does something great, like all of us are doing something great. Like we all need to like grow together. I feel that a lot with like writers room musicians, where there isn't like that competitive vibe.
Right.
But I've been to some like other music events in LA where it really feels like, oh, like don't talk to this person, and like it just feels like touchy like that.
Yeah, no, I think that's actually very key. Is not having that scarcity mindset, like you talked about, and not being afraid to collaborate, and not being worried about, oh well, they're gonna eat into my following somehow or something like that.
Yeah.
Whereas like, no, we can like help each other get bigger and better, and keep it
Yeah.
going that way. So like I totally agree with you on that one. You had opportunity to be in a film as well.
Oh yeah. We filmed in 2019, and then like COVID delayed everything. And I play music in the film, so that's cool.
Yeah.
But I play a trans teenager in Nebraska.
Okay.
So that was definitely like one of the most interesting experiences of my life for sure, but also super fulfilling.
Nice.
Yeah.
How did that all come about?
I started so when I moved to LA. So I actually moved to LA because I got offered this like really big producer deal. And I move out here, and this is like with one of Lady Gaga's old producers. So they offer me like this incredible deal. I come out here, so I sign the contract, come out here, and I'm here for like a month, haven't heard from them, and they like call a meeting, and they're like, I don't think the world is ready for a trans artist yet.
Wow.
And they handed me back my contract. And I was super, super depressed from it. And I was like, ah, man, like, I want to just like do more stuff. I started looking around for like music agents and stuff. And then I actually like found acting agents. And I was like, all right, I mean, I might as well pursue this. Like, it's fun. It's a performance as well. It's part of what I really love about music is performing it. So that's kind of just how like all that came about. And with that movie specifically, the director Travis Fine actually found me on, I think he found me on YouTube or Google or something. He was like searching for a specific person to play this role, and I happened to fit. So I didn't audition or anything. He wrote me a letter asking if I would read the script and accept the role. It was super magical. The movie's called Two Eyes.
Wow. Awesome.
Yeah.
I think one key is when you had the devastating event of, having that contract handed back to you. I think a lot of people might just shut it down and go back to wherever they, where did you move from?
I was in New York for
New York,
like
okay.
9 months. That's where I'm from.
Okay.
But before that, I was in San Francisco.
Okay.
And I left the West Coast,
Okay.
which was actually like probably one of the worst decisions I ever made in my life. Like to go back to New York. Like
Okay.
I regret it still.
Really?
But that contract like got me back out here, like even though it was like a bad contract and whatever, like it got me back here.
Which everything happens for a reason. I totally believe that. And as I was saying before, a lot of people would have gone back to New York or gone back wherever when the contract got tossed back.
Yeah.
But you kept going, and then that the movie thing happened, and then now you're here. So I think
right after that contract was given back to me, like a year later, I wrote Daughter, which is my most popular song, and so I write that song, and I actually sent it to another record deal that I was offered, and they told me that the song wasn't good, and nah, we're not doing it. And I was like, all right. So I recorded that song in a garage for like $50.
Wow.
And it just took off. And I mean, I wrote that song in like less than 10 minutes,
Wow.
Recorded it in a day. And like, I had no idea that it would amount to anything, And that like one song that took me 10 minutes to write has now like, it's gotten me so many opportunities, like all over the country. And
I just want to say for people real quick, Daughter, 3.4 million Spotify streams, at least as of right now when I looked. 2.4 million YouTube views for the video. So this is the kind of like thing we're talking about here. So what kind of opportunities have come from that?
Yeah, like getting to tour. I mean, right after that song came out, I went on tour. And I go to the Bay Area, and I'm playing a show in Oakland. I've never played in Oakland before. I know one person. They tell me, like, my friend, they're like, yeah, I'm coming to the show. I'm like, no one's coming to the show. And I get there. It was like at this cafe that doesn't exist anymore. And it was like 80 capacity, not like huge, but I get there and they were like, the show is sold out. And I was like, no way. Like, I didn't, I couldn't believe it. And then that was the first time when I played a song, everyone was singing it there.
Wow.
And I was just like, what is happening? And it, in a way, it like freaked me out. I get on that same tour, I get to Salt Lake City where I also don't know anyone, and it's packed, and I'm starting to get like nervous. I went like in the bathroom and called my mom. I was like, Mom, all these people are here to see me, and she was like, yeah, like that's what you do, you play shows, like and I was like, no, it's weird, like some of them like have the same hairstyle as me, like have the glasses and stuff. I was like freaked out, you know, but like I was so flattered and grateful. But it was little shows, you know, but those shows built a lot of community. And I tried to do like I try to do as many like free shows and all ages shows as I possibly can. So like that, like younger trans people and queer people could come and their families and stuff. Like that's like something super important to me. But yeah, so like that song led to all that. It led to me like playing at a lot of colleges, a lot of festivals, pride festivals, other types of festivals, South by Southwest, and then eventually, that song led me to my name being known more. And but this was a slow build. Like the song like popped off in the beginning, and it like popped off. I mean, like maybe in the first week it got like 10,000 streams. Which isn't that much, right? But it was like it just started like snowballing, but that took years, you know, like over 5 years.
Oh wow.
But more and more people are like finding out about it. I still get like letters about it and emails.
Wow.
But so when we played San Francisco Pride in 2022, I played with my band. A label came to scout us, and they were a smaller label, but it made that dream come alive for me again that I had lost when I moved here in 2016. And I was like, oh wait, maybe like I am good enough to get signed. And I kind of like stopped believing in myself for a while. And they started to negotiate a deal with me, and my husband Steph was like, well, why don't you reach out to like a bigger label that you really like, and just you might as well just try, you know? So at this point I'm like, all right, I could try, you know, like probably nothing will happen, but like why not? So I decided to send just an Instagram DM, super like casual, to Kill Rock Stars, and I said something like, what's the do you have a submission page or something, like something basic, one sentence.
Wow.
And a few days later, the owner of the label called me. They already knew my music.
Wow.
And I got offered a deal like very quickly. So my first album for that deal will come out this year.